Welcome back to Open Window Politics. Today we're going to be going through my latest prediction for the 2024 Senate elections. We've already characterized all the safe and the two likely seats. For the Democrats, we have the seat in Maryland. For the Republicans, we have the seat in Nebraska. Generally, both of these would be safe, but there's kind of interesting situations happening for both of them. But we will now characterize the lean and tilt characterization states. I will add a tilt characterization right here. And there we go. So we'll start with the lean states, though. So for the Republicans, we have the lean states of Texas and Florida. These are probably going to be, well, they're most likely going to be in the Republican column, but I do think they are a little bit more narrow of a victory than Republicans probably would have hoped for at the end of the day. But nonetheless, I do think it will be in Republican hands. And then we, right off the bat, that means Republicans are at 50 seats. And so if Democrats want to hold the Senate, they'd have to win every single race that I've yet to characterize, as well as hold the presidency, so that Walz can be the tie-breaking vote. But for now, we'll characterize the lean Democrat states. We'll start out on the West Coast. So we have the two safe states of California and Washington. But I do think that the Democrat in Nevada will most likely win by a lean margin. And I think that it'll probably be the same for Rumgallo, the Democrat in Arizona. This state, Kari Lake, is running for the Senate seat, and she is not well liked at all. So I do think there is a very real possibility, and I think probably the more likely of the outcomes, that Trump is able to win the state of Arizona on the presidential level, but the Democrat is able to win on the Senate level. So there is the characterization for that. And then in Wisconsin, we have Tammy Baldwin's seat. She's pretty well-liked incumbent, so I don't see a world where I could see it maybe narrowing up slightly, but I do think at the end of the day it will be a Democratic hold. And then I think it will most likely be the same situation in the state of Michigan, and finally in the state of Pennsylvania. I do think that these three Rust Belt states will most likely, Democrat in Pennsylvania is very well liked and will probably be able to win there by a reasonably comfortable margin. That leaves us the two swing states, really, of this election that are the state of Montana and Ohio, although Montana has been progressively moving further and further to the right. So actually, I forgot to characterize it as a lean red state, but I do think that it will most likely be in the Republican column by a reasonably safe margin. And then finally, that leaves us with the state of Ohio. I think Ohio is probably going to be one of, if not the closest states in the Senate elections. Interestingly enough, if you reset the map, it makes these two Senate seats likely in Florida and Texas, but it makes it so the only competitive state is the state of Ohio, which is kind of interesting. But if we were to characterize it, it would, you reset the map and it just goes to Ohio being the only competitive state with 51 seats for the Republicans. So regardless of whatever happens there, it will be a Republican hold. But I do think that Republicans are probably going to gain another seat here. So we're going to go with the tilt rating, but I do think it will be by a tilt margin. Sherrod Brown is ahead in the polls, but it's a pretty close margin of error. So I do think that there's definitely a possibility. Like I've said, this is probably going to be the most competitive state, so I do think there's a possibility that Sherrod Brown, the Democrat, is able to win. But for now, I just find it hard to believe that, because Trump will carry the state by probably a 8 to 10 point margin, and I don't think there will be enough vote splitters, ticket splitters, to be able to help both Trump and Sherrod Brown win. I don't think that's a super likely outcome. I think it's possible, but in the end of the day, I do think that Ohio is becoming it used to be a swing state, but is now becoming a more safe, reliable Republican state, and that will most likely result in a Republican victory on the Senate level. The candidate picked for this race is not the best Republicans could have done, but I do think that just due to Ohio's sheer partisan nature, that it will probably result in a Republican pickup nonetheless. So with that, we have 52 seats for the Republicans to 48 seats for the Democrats. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions about my prediction, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.